We wait and we watch for the announcement coming out of Washington, expected at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, our next guest has some insight after meeting with officials from both the U.S. and Mexico. Goldy Hyder joins us now, President and CEO of the Business Council of Canada. Goldy, what are you hearing about the fate of free trade in North America?
Well, I guess it all depends on who you talk to, because unfortunately, the best information we continue to receive from the White House and from Washington more broadly is nobody really seems to know what exactly is coming or what exactly is going on. And it's really a part of what I call the reality TV show of life that we are all now cast in. And we have to just, in some ways, go along with the plot, if you will, and see what comes. There's speculation about a number of things. I think it's just best to see what it is. And more importantly, it's important to understand what's going on in America and what is it that Canada needs to do about that.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about that. First, I want to know if you're hearing there's an appetite for separate agreements as opposed to CUSMA, or are you hearing that people are still on board with having some sort of agreement that is covering all of North America?
Yeah, I guess the easy answer is yes and yes, because unfortunately, there are some people who do think that they're going to go towards the bilateral track. I would urge caution on that for a number of reasons. First and foremost, you have a president who needs to win and the other side needs to lose. So on a one-on-one, everybody on their side is going to lose. If there's at least another partner there, maybe there's a way to negotiate it so there's less harm being done to the other entities that are involved in that trade negotiation. Secondly, and perhaps more importantly, we've had a trade agreement in this continent for nearly 40 years, and it's been working. It's working well. The USMCA has been good for all three countries. Can it be better? Sure, it can. But if you break it up now, you're talking about more regulatory compliance, more uncertainty, different tariff policies, different life of how to do dispute mechanisms, how long the deal would last. All of that uncertainty and the cost related to that ultimately gets passed on to the customer. So our view is the easier way forward is to recognize that the president himself, while he's sometimes mused about not liking multilateral deals, I think he really means more with regions like Europe than he necessarily does with the continent. Why don't we go back to him and say, let's find a way forward to sit down at that table, Canadians, Mexicans, and Americans. We've done this before. It's not our first rodeo. We will find a way forward. We know there are irritants for you, irritants for us and the Mexicans. Yesterday, they released your report, and I was pleased, actually, in the sense that what they said is not really a surprise. Obviously, we disagree fundamentally. The language of French is extremely important in Canada and our identity, but other issues that they're putting on the table, they're not new. We're going to have some irritants. Mexico's going to have it. Let's work towards renewing the USMCA. Continues to be, in our opinion, the best way forward.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how the agreement could be better, because you said it could be. We know what the major irritant is for Mexico, which has also been applied to Canada for reasons unknown, and that's fentanyl. Okay, but if you take that out of the mix, what are the other irritants you think Donald Trump wants addressed, be it through tariffs or be it through a revised CUSMA?
Yeah, I think we need to be very careful that when you're dealing with the G1 economy that's 10 times your size, going into a negotiation that's some comprehensive thing where everything is on the table, that's a lot more than I think Canadians are bargained for right now. We're talking about renewing our trade agreement. Do we need to do better on defense when it comes to meeting our NATO commitments? Of course. That's got nothing to do with the trade agreement. Should we be doing more together on combating crime, cybersecurity, fentanyl, and so forth? Yes. Again, nothing to do with the trade agreement. The trade agreement is about how to conduct business, and it affects many industries. Obviously, auto has been gathering a lot of attention there, but there's a number of other industries that manufacturing and energy and so forth that are captured in those trade agreements. Let's strengthen that agreement. It's been working. And so we continue to push for that and remain optimistic that we'll be able to get to that place. And if it goes in another direction, I think we have to recognize that it's difficult when you're dealing with this administration to believe that you're going to come out of it, with a fair deal. You have to work very hard at that. And part of that means for Canada to pivot and to also ensure that we're doing more with other countries than we've been able to do for the last 150 odd years.
So even if North American trade survives the way we know it now, it's likely to look fairly different in the future. How do you anticipate it will change shape?
Yeah, so I think it's really critical for us to recognize, geography has done what it has. We are attached to the United States of America. We have 75% of our economy attached to the United States. Yes, we can bring it down, and it doesn't mean you have to do less. It just means you have to do more with others. We are going to have to stabilize the relationship with America and in North America. And at the same time, I've just come back from Europe. There's 27 countries there that are saying, how are they going to respond? They look to Canada and say, you have the ability to be a reliable partner. Your resources are required here. Let us build resilience. To strengthen your country and our country, but you got to build the infrastructure to get things to our markets. And so this is a moment as Canadians come out of a federal election to say, are we going to be able to stabilize our relationship with the Americans while diversifying our relationship and doing what I call the plus or the and for our economy, which bodes well for Canada. We have what people want. There's a reason America has their interest in Canada. They want what we have. It's not up for us to give it to them. We have to have trade negotiations, but we also need to have an economic strategy that at least now wakes up to the reality that what was isn't anymore. We need to be much smarter and much shrewder in taking control of our controllables as we go forward.
Can you expand a little bit more from your trip to Europe? I think you were in Germany, how it was received there, how Canada's push to try and increase its presence, increase its trade there was received, and where you think we have avenues to do that?
I think there's a sense that, wow, this is happening to Canada, given everything you've done with the Americans in your life, fought wars, and, you fought together, you fought against each other, you've built an economy here, you have strong relationships. If this can happen to Canada, it can happen to any of us. And so I think there is a general recognition that we have to accept, it doesn't matter whether we agree or disagree, we have to accept that this administration has actually been pretty clear with what it is out to do. They are out to reindustrialize the United States of America. They want manufacturing back. They want those jobs back. They have a massive deficit and a debt that they know they have to rein in and get under control. So they're going through the spending cuts, the Doge thing. They're having these immigration visas. They're trying to reduce their spending on a number of defense things, which cost them a lot of money. And they're trying to find a way to get their math to add up. And one of their ways is doing that is really saying, you want to avoid the tariffs? Do you want better taxes? Do you want lower regulations? Bring your business to America. But not everybody can do that. Not everybody should do that. Take Canada, for example. The resources are in the ground. Our resources are in the ground. So a lot of what we have, capital comes here from Europe and other places to sell to the American market. And that's why we need to make sure that we have a strong, stable trade agreement while we diversify to get our products to Europe. They want to work with us more, but let's be honest here. When you have 75 cents of your economy wrapped up in one place, it's a long road to get to a place where it's less, but we have to start. For every day we wait, it's one more day that we've waited too long. So I'm really hoping coming out of this election, we're able to diversify as we need to.
Yeah, unlock from the U.S., as many are saying we need to do. Goldy Hyder, thanks for your time. Appreciate that. Goldy's the president.